Hello and welcome to Threefold Herbal Healing. I'm Herbalist Leo. I help people who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired, people that have chronic disease, um, grow their health from the roots up. Today, I'm starting a new series of 4 videos. It is fall outside, and I'm responding to the changes in season, and I'm talking a little bit about how the cycles of the year um, affect our body, our health, and our mindset. So let's dive right in. I hear a lot of herbalists talking about the connectedness between you and nature. I hear it said again and again, it's your birthright to be connected to nature. What does it really mean in like practical, actual way? For me, my interconnectedness to nature is something that is so obvious. I feel it in my core. The idea that the human body and nature developed in symbiosis to one another, and that the boundaries between where I end and nature begin are so blurred, inspired my understanding of what health is and what is physical health and what is mental health. Just think, for example, about the microbiome. This really, we are filled with ecology of bacteria and viruses that support our well-being that developed with our body, and we live in a symbiosis. So we do that in many other ways. And today I wanted to focus especially on one way, and that's the way the seasonal changes affect your body. So this is one clear aspect of interconnectedness to nature, how our body respond to the changes in season. So I'm very lucky because I lived in an area where you have 4 distinct seasons. And I've noticed that my food craving, the patterns of my sleep, and even my mood change from season to season. Each season have a different energy and it affects the way I feel. So last weekend, I pulled out all the tomato plants from my garden. After we had a couple of really hard frost, all the tomatoes plants turned black. At the edge of my yard, the maple tree, all their leaves turned first into red and then into yellow, and then they let go of their leaves, and I had to rake tons of leaves from the grass. Fall is really time to let go and to clean up. There is a lot of cleanup involved in fall and of letting go. In New Hampshire, they say, if you don't like the weather now, wait 5 minutes, it will change. In autumn, the temperature fluctuates. So we have days that are really warm and sunny, and then we have days that are really chilly. In the morning, it's really, really hard to decide what to wear because sometimes yesterday might be warm, but today it's very chilly. So the way I do it, I wear layers. The wind is really, it's swirling the leaves. It's a very windy season. And you see the birds on the sky, in the sky, migrating south to a warmer weather. Fall is really associated with wind, migration, and really the air element. It's considered to be a windy season and a dry season. The area of the body, the organ or system in the body that is associated with the fall is the respiratory system and the air element. Between the fall equinox and Thanksgiving, we see a really steep increase in cases of colds and flus. Some of those cases are because the days are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, and our body is less exposed to sunlight. So there is less chance to synthesize vitamin D. Less vitamin D means weakened immune system. Another reason is that during the fall, there is dramatic changes in temperature and in gusts of wind that actually kind of our body is having a hard time to adapt to. And because of that, there is much more vulnerability in the body and susceptibility to colds and flu. When you think about food, spices, and herbs, keep in mind that food is medicine. So, what kind of foods and spices are we inclined to use, or can we use as medicine in the fall? Fruits are the final part of the plant's development. Just before it spreads its seed all over, it's let go, and before it becomes dormant, if it's a perennial, or it dies out if it's an annual. The phrase bear fruit or fruits of one's labor suggests that the fruits and the seeds that they hold within them are the accumulation of its hard work, that fruits are something that created through hard work. And it's kind of all the forces culminate to create this wonder thing. It's very nutrients. Eating fruits close to the time you harvest them means that you get optimal nutrients from those fruits. They taste much better when they are in season, and fruits that are refrigerated for a long period of time, stored, traveled from other sides of the country, they just don't have the same taste and also not the same nutrition in them. So some of the fruits that you can find in the farm market fresh, just picked up in the fall, are pumpkins, squashes, pear, cranberries, and apples. Many of them are part of the Thanksgiving meal. So think about eating now all the seasonal fruits that are so abundant and so full of, pumpkin and squashes are so full of vitamin A that is good for creating healthy mucus and that will provide an immune system support. So what is the taste of fall? What is the taste that it can help the body during the fall time? When the days become shorter and the nights longer, you might feel your body slowing down a little bit. Getting up from bed in the morning, it's a little more trickier, and digestion is somewhat sluggish. Herbalists traditionally suggested using pungent foods and herbs to counteract the effect of the dry wind on the body. Pungent spices and herbs stimulate blood flow. They create heat and they disperse it from the center of the body to the skin. They also increase appetite. So many pungent spices, including cumin, turmeric, cardamom, cinnamon, all of those came from the Indian kitchen. Hot peppers originated in America, while aromatic herbs such as thyme, sage, savory, and rosemary, those are all pungent herbs, very volatile herbs, grew around the Mediterranean Sea. Pungent herbs are warming and they can buffer the fall windy energy, but they are also drying. And since fall is also a drying season, you want to keep hydrated. So you want to drink a lot of herbal tea. You want to eat warm soup. You want healthy fats in your diet. Avocado is a healthy fat. And you also want to use moistening herbs such as burdock or milky oats. Now, the vibe of fall is emotions. Emotions are connected to the air element in the body. Like wind, emotion roll in and out, changing direction constantly. Autumn is associated with two really related emotions that are also contradictory: grief and gratitude. Let's talk a little bit about grief. As the trees let go of their leaves and flowers bow down their heads, we too let go of the summer abundance of light and color. There is an element of grief, of letting go of the abundance of summer, of the light, of the warmth, and kind of going inwardly. Autumn melancholy encourages you to assess your intention and priorities as we round the last curves before the end of the year. It is not surprising that the large intestine, the colon, is the organ that is associated with grief. This is the organ that let go or eliminate what the body no longer need. So there is a grief that is associated with the letting go. The other emotion that is connected or associated with fall is gratitude. Gratitude is really a mirror image of grief. It is a mindset that focuses on the half of the cup that is full. Many cultures have a tradition of gratitude festivals at the end of the harvest season that in many places fall on fall. Those festivals that were usually held in the fall celebrate the gifts of the elements that put food in people's stomach. Grief and gratitude are really essential for life. They are the essence of life. The garden's falling leaves and dying plant will serve as the foundation for the compost pile, which will nourish the new life as it emerges in the spring. So we have a cycle of death and life. So some lifestyle tips for the fall. In the kitchen, fall is really the time to preserve the last of the harvest. You look out and you see the squirrel collecting the last of the acorns. So we too need to preserve as much food so we have food during the winter. So for me, usually it was fermenting food. So it was time for sauerkraut, kimchi. That was what I was doing every fall. You want to incorporate healthy fats into your diet in the fall because of the dryness of the season. So avocado oil or avocado, even the fruits is great. Coconut oil, butter, and ghee help buffer the dryness in the air. Autumn is time to slow down and turn inward. Let yourself sleep more, cuddle with a book, a cup of tea, and reflect. Write a gratitude journal. Think back on your year and start to consider how you want next year to look. So fall is really the time to look back. Movement in the fall should be gentle and connected to the breath. Again, the air element. Yoga and Qigong and breathing exercise will support the respiratory system. Artistic work in the fall might include nature altar using fruits such as acorns and pine cones, maybe leaves. And you can also harness the power of wind to create music. You want to work with the wind chimes, sound baths, as a way to express this energy of the fall that has to do with wind and air and movement. In the herbal apothecary, autumn is the time to dig down roots from the garden. Once the cycle of growth ends, perennial plants take all the energy into the roots so they can survive in the winter. So in the fall, after the first frost, the roots are very potent. So it's the time to harvest roots such as dandelion, burdock, astragalus, licorice, marshmallow. It's what an intense root time. Seasonal living is a way of living with mindfulness because it invites you to slow down and really observe nature. Note the changes in nature and really observe your body and your mood and see how those changes in nature are mirrored in your body, in your mood. Yeah, it's type of a beautiful way of living. Um, and it's really allowed only if you slow down. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me talk about the fall season. I hope it was educational. I hope you learned something that you will take with you. I will be extremely grateful if you left a comment on the bottom and tell me one thing that you learned from this video that you enjoyed. Or if you have a question, I would love questions that I can respond to and answer. I hope your fall is quiet. I hope you allow yourself to slow down and connect to the energy of the season. Bye.